but we're going to kick it off with Jodi Murphy, originally Francavilla. And Jodi is our, God, she's just good. You're just going to love her. She's an amazing storyteller, and she's got a great one for you tonight. And put your hands together and welcome our friend Jodi Murphy.
Hello, you lovers out there. Happy Love Day. I'm feeling the vibe. Love is in the air. I won't sing for you. How many of you are on dates tonight? Okay, well, let's all weep. No, I'm kidding. The reason I bring it up is because I love first dates. I love first dates because you could say anything you want. More importantly, you could ask any question that you want, right? You got no skin in the game, man. So I say, put some deep-ass questions in there, and I call it dick vetting on the fast track. Now, a good girl, a nice girl, doesn't kiss and tell. But I'm not a nice girl. So I got some stories for you tonight, people, and they're all true. I recently went out on a first date with this guy I met online, and he was fucking fine, man. Usually they're a little schlubby than their pictures, but this guy was like a gazelle. He was running on the tennis court, and I'm watching those hammies glistening in the sun, and I'm thinking, okay, this guy's got some potential. So we're playing, and it was all very lovely. And I'm thinking, hey, game set, match, this guy's gonna see my snatch tonight. I mean, it was like a spark. I had a whole storyline going over that tennis court now. Of course, we didn't have a conversation, right? We get off the court and we go to have a drink. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna ask my question. So my first question was, so how long have you been divorced? And he said, Monday. I'm like, motherfucker, it's Wednesday. Jesus. Nobody, I mean, like, no grass grows under those toes, my friend. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, Mr. Dashing is a fucking train wreck, because everybody around their divorce is a train wreck. So it's like, no. But he's so handsome, so I'm like, I want to keep him. And the other parts are like, no, he's a train wreck, get rid of him. Well, this decision was made for me when he kissed me. Well, it wasn't so much of a kiss as it was like a eat your face kind of situation. It was nibble, ugh, I'm telling you, gnaw, pinch. It was really too much, and I had to cut the date short while I still had use of my lips to say, bye. And that was about the extent of it at that point. It took some healing time. And the thing is, good kissing, or if you run into a bad kisser, you gotta handle that shit that night. You can't let it go on 2 or 3 dates and then revamp the whole shitty kissing style. It's gotta be handled. Either you avoid him or you fix it. One of the two. So I went out on a couple dates with this guy. It was a ton of fun. We were friends, and it was sort of morphing into a little something more, right? So we have our first makeout, and this man was so bad. It was like punchy, stab, swirl, drool, punchy, drool. It was like too much to keep up. It was a sword fight in my mouth. I was in jeopardy of losing a tooth. This is serious stuff, and I mean, seriously, and I'm thinking, but I like him, right? So, now, it's not that I'm a control freak or anything, but I just stepped away from him. I put his chubby little face in my hands, and I said, you need to follow me. No improvisation, you follow me. Wax on, wax off. This is true. All right, so now we're starting to make out. Things are, grooving along, and he's following me, but you could tell when his mind started to wander, because he would go back to punchy, swirl, drool, and I'd have to back away and go, follow me, follow me. At the end of the day, I had a 5-hour 2-hour fabulous makeout session with myself, basically. It was so worth it. And I mean, I'm not trying to be a control freak. I was trying to be helpful, okay? Nothing about control, it was helpful. I was trying to protect my dental work and for the crowns and bridges that were yet to come in this man's future. You're all welcome in case you make out with him. The thing about first dates is that people's sexual proclivities rear their heads on the first date. You just gotta keep your eye holes open and other holes closed. It'll tell you so much. Case in point, I went on a date with a guy, and within 2 hours, he had my shoes off and was rubbing my feet. Now, again, first dates, you can ask any question you want. So he's rubbing my feet, and I'm like, so, what's going on with the foot thing? Like, you got a little foot thing going on? I mean, you could tell me. It's just like, you know, he's like, no. Like, you sure, little foot? Nope. He said, I just want you to be comfortable. I'm like, wanting my comfort? That'll win you date number 2. So he comes over and he goes, yeah, you know, I was thinking about that comment you said about the foot thing, and if I was into the foot, which I'm not, but if I was, would you be into it? I'm like, okay. Date number 3. He's all agitated. And I'm like, hey, buddy, look at me in the eye. Look here. Not looking. Look at these amazing titties I have. Look here. Nothing above the knee interested this man. It was very clear things were about to go down. I was just trying to keep my options open, and I knew he was gonna explode, so I was just trying to be helpful. I plopped myself down on the couch, I stuck my foot up, and I said, go to town. This man grabbed my foot like it was the finest thing he'd ever seen and proceeded to suck my toes with such rapture that I'm like lying on the couch and like this, and I have to look at him because I'm like, I want what he's having. Whatever's happening here, it looks really damn good. And in my mind, I'll tell you what happens. I don't know about your experience with toe sucking, but I will tell you that there's one thought that goes through your mind, and that is, when is the last time I've scrubbed these tootsies flat? Because I guarantee you, I was not prepared for that action. Not at all. And here's the thing, now I'm just trying to be helpful here. If you have a toe sucker in your life, it's just where it begins. Toe suckers are equal opportunity suckers. They like to suck things, all parts. And I was trying to be open to the whole thing, but eventually I had to break up with him because he was stupid. That was a real reason. Because every time we were about to have sex, he'd go, what would you like me to lick first? Your toes, your butt, or your pussy? And I was like, duh, my pussy. I mean, how stupid can you be? It's gotta go. Quit asking me that. You gotta go. Bye-bye. So my last first date that I went on, I can't even believe I'm telling you this because it is so true and it seems ridiculous at the time, but I was coming home from a trip and I had to take a taxi home, and I met a Nigerian prince taxi driver. And we struck up a conversation, and he had this adorable, thick Nigerian accent and this big, wide smile, but most importantly, he was smitten with Jodi Murphy. He was quite taken with me, and I was like, oh, yeah. So he asked me out for a date, and I said, okay. I don't know what I was thinking, but the next weekend I met him at a restaurant. I walk in, and he's there to greet me in a blue sequined dinner jacket. Hello! The price tag was still hanging off the thing. I said nothing. He escorted me to our table. And I couldn't even get into my first date, rapid fire dick vetting questions because he informed me over the salad that God had brought the two of us together and that I was his type. He always went for the older white women. He liked them thick but sturdy, well-groomed, and no odor down there. I was like, check, 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 check. That's a lot of info for a first date. And who's asking the questions here, my friend? Over dinner, he tells me that, let's see, where do I begin? He'd like to buy my clothes. He wants to do all the grocery shopping. He would like me to take a bath every night and he'll rub my feet. It's good for digestion. And he'd like to weed my garden, and that's not a euphemism. He has seen my garden. This is first date, mind you. Like, okay, where am I? What is happening here? I'm out of my league. So, over dessert, as if like a magician, he pulls his bottle of perfume out and hands it across the table. And I said, what this? And he's like, it's perfume. I said, what kind? And he said, it's coochie perfume. I'm like, coochie perfume? What does my coochie have to do with this? Well, of course he had an accent. It was actually Gucci perfume. Because I know my coochie be Gucci, baby. I don't need nothing on there, but, Then he takes out a $100 bill, slaps it on the table, and says, you must take this. I'm like, where am I? What is happening here? I'm thinking, is this like payment for services I'm yet to render? What is going on? But it turns out that he's a taxi driver and he's cognizant of the gas money I spent to get to the date. So, very kind. Thank you, my Nigerian prince. So, anyway, as if it couldn't get worse, he, all of a sudden, his hand reaches across the table, because apparently my nose was dripping. I did not know that. But he decided to handle matters on his own. Went across the table, grabbed my nose, wiped it, then put his other hand on the top of my head and took his index finger and circled in. This is a true story. It is a true story. Circled each nostril, right? And we all know that's not appropriate for a first date. That's 7 date material. You don't circle a nostril on the first date. And I was like, what are you doing? And you know what he said to me? I'm just trying to be helpful. Anyway, thank you very much, you guys. Have a great night.